We opened our shop on November 2nd, which means after a week of having our shop suspended, we've officially been open for 2 whole months. We started by uploading custom items, which are basically the easiest thing to sell because the customers will just tell us what they want and we don't have to make any original designs. We were doing super good, making over $1,000 some days, up until we had a bunch of cancellations and refunds for all of the orders that weren't arriving in time for Christmas. Ever since then, we've been getting a few sales, but it's definitely died off compared to the holiday rush leading up to Christmas. But this year we're going to pivot into making original designed products so that it's a lot more passive and I don't have to spend my time fulfilling each custom order. This is also hopefully going to help us get back on track to hitting our goal of $100,000. Today, we're going to look at everything that's happened up until this point. We'll jump into the dashboard to see how much we've done in sales and what the sales look like right now. I'm going to talk about why I'm using Figma instead of Canva and PlaceIt, as well as some huge time-saving hacks if you're following along. And then we'll look at my method for uploading tons of designs super quickly to Printify and Etsy. We're going over a lot of super important stuff today, so let's get right into it. So if we jump into the computer here, you can see we were doing super great. If we change it to revenue, you can see we were doing about $660. That was after a bunch of refunds that we had over these few days. And after we issued all of those refunds, we already know that we took a huge hit in sales. Now, right now, our time frame is over the last 30 days, so this is not our entire sales history. But after we issued a bunch of those refunds, our shop was completely dead. From there, we've finally started getting a few more sales, but it's still been very slow. And recently, we've had a couple days where we're doing $150, $50, $150. So the sales are still coming in, but they're much slower now. And this is kind of expected, especially after a super busy holiday season. So for a little more perspective, here's one of my other shops that's doing about 7 figures. You can see that I was doing $4,000 a day. A few days before this, we were doing $5,000 to $6,000. And you can see that it slowly starts tapering off the closer you get to Christmas. And then around this time, it really starts to steady out. And this is completely normal. So on this shop, we're doing about $1,000 a day. Some days a little less. Here we had a $500 day, about $1,000. And it's just going to slowly start to taper off and become much more consistent. So what you can see right here is this huge plummet. Obviously, that was because I deactivated some listings and we had some issues, but we'll always see a similar trend right after Christmas where the sales die off. So what does this mean and how can we use it to our advantage? Well, January, February, and March have always been my slowest months. So this means it's really time to focus on getting a bunch of new listings up while everyone else is kind of worried about the lack of sales they're getting. Plus, if we're getting listings up today, it means later in the year when people are ready to start shopping, they're going to be ready to buy our listings because our listings have had time to rank in SEO. So this was an example order that I wanted to quickly talk about. It was an order for about 6 shirts, and I just wanted to break down some of the profit and loss so you can see what it's like to sell custom items. So this lady ordered 6 shirts, all with the exact same design. Now, I'll have to blur out the design because I think it's her company name, but I'm going to show you how I would go about fulfilling this order. A lot of you guys seemed confused about how I was actually fulfilling these orders, so I'm going to give you a quick but detailed breakdown. So the very first thing we're going to do is we need to get a mock-up to show the customer what it's going to look like. So on Printify, I'm just going to navigate to the Bella Canvas 3001, which is the products. It's the t-shirt that I would recommend you sell if you're going to sell t-shirts with Monster Digital. They're absolutely the best provider on Printify. But if we go ahead and we hit start designing, we can actually see the t-shirt here. And if we come up to prices and variants, you can see here's where you would choose all of the colors. So let's do black, for example, or a dark gray heather. And you're going to see it'll update the colors, but you won't see this until you add a design. We're not worried about that. If we hit preview, I hope you can see this up at the top of the screen. You'll see it gives you a quick mock-up of the product. And so what we do, and this is the first reason why I use Figma instead of Canva and PlaceIt, okay? So this is really important. So on Printify, once you have this blank mock-up, we're going to right-click it and we're going to hit copy image. Super easy. Next, we're going to come into our Figma board. And you can see I've just created a new Figma board, and we'll get into all of this stuff in a second. But we're going to paste this image right into our Figma board, okay? And now you can see that we've essentially just got this mock-up on our Figma board. And Figma just gives you a big whiteboard, essentially, where you can put a bunch of different stuff. You can create designs, you can add images, It's really, really cool. You'll have to play around with it for yourself, but for now, just try and follow what I'm doing right here. So I've placed this image, and you can see on the left side of the screen, we have all of our layers. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to lock this layer, which is our image 1. You can see it selected. And now I can't move it around. And this will just keep it locked in place, and it's much easier to use this way. Now for this custom order, she wanted the name of her farm. So I'm going to blur out the name of her farm, and I'm just going to use a fake one. But all I have to do is I have to hit the T key on my computer. I don't know if you can see this up here at the top, but there is a text option. So right here, I'm not sure if you can see this. There's a text box option. So we're just going to hit T, and then if we click and then we start typing, so we'll type Alek's farm, okay? And right there you can see we've typed it out, and then I can just center it on the shirt. So you can see as I drag it across, it just snaps and it centers to the shirt. Very useful. If I hit the K key on my keyboard, it allows me to scale this down so it's not quite as big. If I hit V, I can come over here, and we've got a lot of controls on the right side. I can hit the color, we can change it to white, I can center it, and I can lower the line height so it's not as far away. From here, now I'm ready to send a preview of the custom design to the customer. On a Mac, you hit Shift-Command-4 to take a screenshot, and I'll just literally take a screenshot of the design. And from there, you would find the order, you would hit message, and you'd send them a message that says, hey, this is your preview of the design, and if you need any changes, please request it within 24 hours. This prevents you from having to upload the design to Printify and then send them a screenshot, and it's just a way less hassle by doing this in Figma. It lets you create custom products without having to go through all the hassle of exporting and design creation, and they get to see the most realistic mock-up of what the end product's going to look like without you having to do all the work. So now, once you have the design ready and the time has passed or they've approved the design, let me show you how you'd upload it to the product and get it shipped to them. Again, I'll probably have to blur out a lot of information here just because a lot of it is private, but the order will not show up under your Printify orders. Instead, you'll have to go to your other orders. This is because you haven't linked an already existing product to a Printify product. So any custom orders that come in are going to show up in your other orders section. From here, I'm just going to use this order as an example. We would click on it, and you can see it gives us essentially just a blank order form, and we can select a product. Since it's not a pre-existing product, we're going to click on catalog. And right here, we could just type in the 3001, which is the t-shirt that we're designing for them. Right here, you can see it loads it up. And now we want to find Monster Digital, since that's the provider that we're using. So we'll click it, and we will come up and we will choose black 3XL. For example, for this order, they ordered a black 3XL. So we will do that, and we'll just hit next. And now we're ready to upload the design. So back in Figma, what we can do is we can click our Alek's Farm design. And down here at the bottom right, you'll see an export section. So we'll click on that, and we want to select the SVG file format. I'll talk about that in the design tutorial that I'm working on, but for now, it's the best format for Printify. So we'll hit export and just save this somewhere where you can find it pretty easily. We'll just hit save. And then back in Printify, what we can do is we can just go to your device and just find wherever you've saved that product. Double click it. Now you can see it's probably going to be pretty small. So we can just drag out the sides and we can make it look exactly like it looked in our preview. I usually like to print my designs from around 11 to 12 inches, and that looks pretty good. Here, you just hit save, and then you would click import order, and then you'd hit submit order from the orders page. That's the complete process for a custom order that I use. So using Figma makes it super easy, and you can keep all of your custom orders in one Figma board. So you don't have to go looking at different Canva files or anything like that. Okay, but now let me show you one more trick on how I'm making a ton of designs. And I kind of teased this last time, but I really wanted to show you another hack to use to make this even more efficient. So let me jump back into my screen. You can see I've just made some amazing designs right here. Obviously, these are super incredible, but designs like these really do sell. These could be bestseller products at some point. So right here in Figma, I've created 4 design layers. And you can see they're all pancake related. So for someone who really loves pancakes. And this uses my design template strategy, which I talked about in my last video, and I'll talk about a lot more when I release my design tutorial. But let's say that you wanted to make these same designs and you wanted to make them for someone who loves waffles. Well, the cool thing about Figma is they allow something called plugins. So if we right click on our Figma board and we come down to the plugins, you probably won't have this plugin right away. So you'll have to hit the find more plugins to find this plugin. But I have it right up here and it's called find and replace. And this is as basic as it gets. All we're going to do is we're going to type in pancake. We're going to type in pancake in our find and replace, and we want to replace it with waffle. And we can just hit replace all. And now you can see in literally a matter of seconds, we have just created 4 completely new designs. If we want to change waffle, we could find the waffle and we could replace it with cupcake and hit replace all. And now we've created 4 more designs, all with the same format. Guys, this is why the design templates are so powerful. If you spend your time and you make great design templates, you can just change out the important word, and that essentially changes out your entire niche. And a lot of you have asked me how I do specific niche research. I don't do niche research. I just upload products for everyone. I upload products for people who love pancakes, waffles, cupcakes, and any other food. And if you make good templates like this, you can create super fast designs using this method. But now I want to show you how you can quickly upload these designs to your Printify and get them posted to Etsy super quickly. Okay, so we're going to upload these 4 pancake designs, right? I like selling all of my prints in white ink. So I'm going to select them all and I'm going to change the color to white. And they're going to disappear because it's on a white background, but we're then just going to export all 4 to this SVG format. And we're just going to hit export 4 layers, pancakes, and we'll just call it pancakes on the desktop and we'll save them right there just for ease of use. All right, and then if we load up my Printify, you'll notice something interesting. So right here at the top, we have one of our t-shirt uploads. And so I just made this one really quick for the purposes of this video. But if we click on it, you can see that we've already recreated the title to have a bunch of keywords for someone who would like a pancake shirt. This is super important when you're uploading a bunch of the same niche shirt. If you're uploading shirts for people who love pancakes or waffles, you want to change the title in Printify so that you don't have to type all those keywords out over and over and over. So if we take a look at this listing, we've already got all of the keywords put out. You would want to create a better description because this is the default description. But a couple other settings is you want to have it so it shows all variants available for purchase. And you want to make sure that all of your prices and all of your sizes are already checked. Having everything set in this listing will mean each time you copy it, it'll save all of the previous details so you don't have to go re-enter everything. So once all of the details are saved, what you're going to do is you're just going to hit this copy button and it's going to duplicate it. From there, this blue link should pop up and hit edit listing. Right there, it's going to make, this is an exact duplicate of the t-shirt we already looked at. So we're going to hit edit design. From here, we're going to delete the old design and we're going to upload a brand new one. So I have the second one right here. Once it uploads, we're going to change it to about 12 inches wide. And I like to move it about 2% down from the top. There you go. And now we just hit save. And then right here, now we can just change the title to I love pancakes shirt. See, and it's already done. We only had to change a little portion of the title. And now we hit save as draft. And now that design is uploaded. So then I would just repeat the same process. I would click duplicate the listing, delete the old design, upload a new one, change a little bit of the title, and repeat the process with all of my designs I've made. Now the final reason why I love Figma is because you can make the mockups super easily in it. So let me show you how you do that. So if we take our pancake designs, I'm just gonna move them closer to our mockup. I've talked about this mockup before. It's a 7-figure earning mockup. It's a great mockup to use. You should buy it and use it for yourself if you can find it. But all we'd have to do is we'd have to hold Option and copy our design right on top of our mockup. We can change the color to white. We can select both layers. And if we hit Command G, it will group them together. And that means if we export this, you can see that it will export a complete mockup with our design on it. And we can use this to upload to Etsy, and this looks a lot better than the default mockup. So this would be an example of a default mockup. This is one that we could buy on Etsy, and this is just much higher quality. So hopefully those rundowns help you kind of understand how you can use Figma and how it's way more powerful than Canva and PlaceIt. I don't use PlaceIt because there's no 7-figure shops on Etsy that use PlaceIt mockups successfully, and it just takes way too long. This method for creating mockups in Figma is the second fastest method. I actually have a script for Photoshop that will take each one of your designs and it will apply it to each one of your templates automatically. And it takes about 2 minutes to generate hundreds of mockups. So I'll leave a video on that once I have it done. But for now, this is the fastest way that you'll find to create great Etsy specific mockups. Okay, I hope that rundown was brief enough. I'm gonna put on screen the total profit and loss so far. I know this video is getting a little bit longer than usual, so we're just going to end it here. But I'm excited for the coming weeks. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope this helps.